Hi, Karishma. Thank you so much for chunking out some valuable time to be here with us. Welcome to the
Hi,
show.
hi. It's my pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you.
Yeah.
Before we start on the topic of expressive art therapy, let's separate the therapy part for 1 minute and talk about expressive arts, basically what it means.
Expressive arts is anything related to arts that it says in itself. Okay, so
Right,
may it be like the drawing part of the art, or the painting part, or it's dance and movement, or you have drama, you have poetry, you have music. So all and everything that you can relate to art is expressive arts.
right. So basically, it's a projection of your feelings through the various forms of arts.
Yeah, you can say that.
Right. So, what is expressive arts therapy?
So, expressive arts therapy is an intermodal therapy that we say. Why intermodal? Because it includes drama therapy, music therapy, dance and movement therapy. We have art therapy and the intermodal therapies that we have. Together, all of this work in synchrony. So, if you have heard about art therapy as a different
Right,
uh, you know different therapy in itself, or a different domain in itself. There's music therapy in itself, there's drama therapy individually done, there's DMT, that's dance and movement, that's done individually. But expressive arts would be the jack of all. It will combine everything, and then it'll work with clients. So it's not like sirf, if I'm a therapist, I
right.
don't do only different kind of art therapy with my client. I will use these modalities interveningly in my session. That's how it works.
So, how can expressive art therapy help people suffering from various mental disorders? How can art or dance be better than not be better, but subjectively sometimes help
Mhm.
patients?
Yeah, so for this, I would like to go little into history. So if you all know, I mean, you also might know that since the Vedic times, or since the last era, very ancient times, we are into culture. In fact, India is known to be a cultural society, culturally diverse society. We have so many religions, so many different dance forms, music forms, all of this. And we have been seeing this since ages. So back then, ऐसे कोई psychologist था नहीं. Like there was no, if you have something, you go to a psychologist or anything. These were the different ways. Like you had Warli paintings, you had circle dance. अभी अगर देखा जाए तो गरबा is also done in a circle. So these concepts are very ancient. We had Gurukul system. Okay, what
Right,
did we do in Gurukul system? We studied, but we learned every art form with it. So why was it then included in our studies or in our curriculum that we say now? Because it does affect and have an impact on your growth, on your development, on your, that's where it comes, on your well-being,
right,
your psychological well-being and your physical well-being. So you used to do dance. They have these, I don't know the dance form, but they used to do dances with sticks and all those. So that works
right.
physically, but also you feel very good about it. You connect to people, you exchange energies. So all of these things have been rooted in our culture since ages. It's just that now we are labeling it as these different kind of modalities, or we are trying to include it in psychology as well, as it has become a different branch.
Right.
So coming back to your question, it works that way. It has been ingrained. Abhi humko school mein drawing was a subject. It was graded. So drawing never felt good to everyone. But now, if I tell you, just take a random paper and scribble in that, you'll
Right.
feel good, right? maybe or maybe not. If, for example, if you have seen Jab We Met, very basic and very random example, okay. Jab We Met mein, what did Shahid Kapoor tell Kareena to do when she had to take all the frustration out?
Photo flash karna.
Photo flush karna, scribbling
Yeah,
it, tearing it, and putting it in the flush, and screaming. That's a way of expressing. That's anything with paper, pen, or anything that's creative. That's
right,
how you express yourself. Or for example, when you're low or something, you kind
mm,
of tend to go towards music, listening to Arjit Singh songs if you have a breakup or something. So we use these little things in our daily lives as well. It's just that I'm here to label it as expressive arts therapy, and that's how we use it with different populations.
right. So this channeling of emotions that you mentioned, is it the reason why, say, in forms of CBT, uh, psychologists ask as homework to write down your thoughts or whatever you feel as a mood diary to channel out?
Yeah. So the thing is, now CBT in itself is a very effective and a different kind of intervention in itself. So if you had to, like, say, there is like diary writing and journaling and pouring yourself out. So क्या होता है कि हम चीजें इंटरनलाइज करते हैं, राइट?
Right,
हमारी चीजें बहुत इंटरनलाइज होती है. तो नाउ इफ यू टॉक अबाउट इट, यू से दैट, राइट? तो कोई कोई लोग, या तो कभी कोई चीजें है ना, सिर्फ बात करने से एक्सप्रेस नहीं करी जाती. दैट्स
right,
हाउ इट वर्क्स. So to externalize those feelings or those thoughts or those emotions, we have different mediums. So anything that you might not be comfortable with dance and movement, you might not be able to convey it like that, but maybe writing works for you, or maybe just scribbling around or playing with paints or clay, that makes you feel better, or whatever your situation is. So
right,
that's how you externalize your internal things. तो बस वो एक चैनल जैसे एक्ट करता है.
right. Yeah, I guess you have a point. For example, you can't expect Eminem to go for public speaking. He can,
Yeah, I mean, you never know though.
right,
Anything and everything can happen in arts.
right. And this multimodal approach that is there in expressive art therapy, how is it more effective than, say, only dance therapy or art therapy?
Okay, so I won't say that it is more effective or less effective, because in itself these domains are very effective.
Right,
But like I said, if you are not into dance and movement and you're going to a therapist who is a DMT specialist, then how will you connect to it? Then that person will only give you movements and flow and dance and all those things. A lot of body work will be included in those things.
right,
But if you are a person who is not into so much of dance and movement, or let's say you have come for self exploration, okay, like a basic thing that you can come for, and you are not a person who want to get involved in movement, but that particular DMT specialist will be able to only give you that. That is with every modality.
right,
But with expressive arts therapy, you have everything in it. You'll have movement, you'll come out of movement and go to art. From there you might go to drama. From there you might go to music and play instruments and sing, or vocalize, or anything. So that's one of the benefits that I feel expressive arts have. So I know about all the fields, somewhat I know about it. So I have knowledge about everything, whereas if I was a dance movement therapist, or if I had to be a music therapist, I would be like specialized in one.
right,
But now it's like I can use anything according to my client. My client
right.
might not like art therapy. How will I go ahead with it?
So how do you decide what is best for client?
Frankly speaking, it comes with the flow.
Right,
So I have had a few exposures to having clients and all that. So it's just that you have to go with the flow and you get the instance. So pehle you plan a session. Okay, if you have a first session with a client, and maybe you're trying to, if a client have come and they don't know about expressive arts, then you start with something, basic cheeze ki if I want to know, for example, how are you feeling? I'm asking you a question. Okay, how are you
Okay.
feeling right now? If you had to explain, if you had to express it through a movement, what will be your movement?
Jumping with joy.
Just show me any hand movement.
Um,
So this will be your movement, right?
yeah.
And what will be the intensity of your joy? So if this is your joy, and if I ask you how much joyful you are, how
Right.
will your hands go then? If it is like 5
The
on 10
intensity
is
would
if it's
increase.
this. Huh.
Yeah.
Will it be like this? Are you so joyful? Are you like this joyful? How much?
7 by 10.
So how will you show it through
I
action?
mean, the frequency would increase a little, right?
Show
But
it
it
to me.
won't be like this.
Yeah. So this was a small demonstration as to how you enter into movement. How do you enter into expressive arts? So basically, I could have asked you, "How was your day? How are you feeling right now?" What
Right.
would you answer? Yeah, it was good. It was fine. I
Right.
had good things. So that's what I'll get it. But now, when I tell you what is your movement, how much are you feeling joyful? That's how I will understand, just with few words and more expression, as to what are you feeling right now.
So if a person is inhibited into projecting their movements or stuff like that, so how do you
Mhm.
make them comfortable?
If at all you're not comfortable with, so now with small interventions, with small exercises, I'll understand, okay, so this person is a little inhibited towards
Right.
movement. He won't move that much. So let me ask him, ki, for example, if I had to ask you, how are you feeling right now? If you could give me a color for it, if any color could express your current mood.
Uh, Green.
Green. Okay, so then that's how you enter.
But how do you interpret like what color means
We
what?
don't inter It's all upon the client. So now that you say green, I will not interpret at, oh, this person is thinking about nature, or oh, this person is go green sort of a. No, we don't interpret that. It comes from
Right.
the client. It's very random that you said green. I'll go ahead with it and maybe do some intervention with you.
Right. And the
That's how
person
I
would
might.
also feel better, right, after expressing their thoughts.
uh it depends on the client again. I can't say ki, okay, now that I've done art therapy, this workshop I've done with you, you have to feel better. That doesn't go like that. For
Right.
example, I attended a, a workshop yesterday or day before, I
Mm-hmm.
think, and it opened up a lot of things. It was a art based or a movement based workshop, but it didn't work well with me. Like, I heard a lot of sharings. They were all they had good positive things that came up for me, but it didn't work for me. I
Right.
mean, I was left with unfinished business for myself. So there will be clients that in a group setting or maybe in an individual setting that might not like it, but that will
Mm.
also lead to something.
Right.
Then I had to reflect ki, why did I think like that? Why did I feel like that? Maybe this is the case, and then that's how you go ahead. So anything and everything that you bring to the table, that's it. We work with that. We don't keep on interpreting in one go. We can't diagnose you in just one go, like, okay, this person has this thing or this person is going through this. We don't do that.
Right. Okay. So, if a person is depressed or suffering from autism and they may not be able to express themselves, that is where it is particularly helpful, right, to use expressive art therapy.
So see, expressive arts can be helpful right from if you have nothing, no problem,
Okay.
no issues. You have just come here for, exploring, or maybe
What do you
it
mean
can
by
be self.
exploring? Like, what
It's
is your
self
definition?
exploration. How do I keep it? So just knowing more about yourself. I had a
Right,
client who came to me with an expectation or with a thing that I want to explore more about myself. I want to understand my feelings. I want to know about me.
right,
So, you start with self exploration, and then deep seated things came up for her. Maybe
right,
it might
right,
not come up for other people. Maybe they'll just know ki, oh, this is how I communicate, or oh, this is how leadership works for me. Basic things if you had to think about.
right.
So that things can happen. So right from a basic thing that you come with no issues or nothing, right to anxiety, depression. You have people with autism, depression. You have bipolar disorder. Then you have Parkinson's people.
Mm.
You have relationship or adjustment issues. What else? You have n number of, so these
Right.
are few of the populations I have been exposed to, but with more experience, I think it I will explore more and more areas and populations that this can work with.
Okay. So the patient or the client who comes to explore or maybe to get help with the issue, do they come out with helping themselves, or is the psychologist fundamental or instrumental in helping them sort through the issue?
I
Do
didn't
they
get the
just
question.
do the expressive art therapists just tell them to perform a certain technique and then they have to work out their own issues, or are they instrumental in helping them work through their issues in like in traditional
So
psychology?
facilitators, practitioners, therapists, psychologists, psychotherapists, everyone, we act as a helping hand towards the client.
Right,
So so they are the ones who actually lead the road every time. We are just there for like a push, you know ये कर सकते हैं types, but करना है कैसे करना है, how much would you work hard for it, it's all on the client itself. So I would say that it's not like a student teacher thing that I'll say, okay, this is the technique, this is the time you have, this is the thing you have to do, come on, go do it.
right,
This is not how it works. Even in traditional psychology it doesn't work like that, and even in expressive arts therapy it's like the relation of a client and a counselor, to build the rapport, to build the trust. It's really very important to go ahead with any kind of therapy. So I would always say that the it's a interaction and an interplay between the client and the counselor, which
right,
leads to the therapy, which leads to wherever it is leading towards.
right.
So yeah, to answer, I mean, I have answered, but definitely it will be like every step we will be there to help and guide and
Right.
all those things.
So how can a client decide whether they should go for expressive arts or traditional method?
Oh, tough question. So yeah, I mean, expressive arts therapy is a growing field. Like,
Mm-hmm.
not a lot of people know about it, but
Mm.
a lot of traditional psychologists have also slowly started incorporating a few elements of it. Uh, but it is tough to convince people to come to us.
Right,
So it's just the way you sell yourself. And if there are people out there who find power in arts, they will definitely come to you. So if I had to give an example, Parkinson's people, okay, they have a problem in balancing their body. So for them, dance and movement works really good, or
right.
music therapy works really good. There is a lot of research and evidence based articles, and a lot of videos also. If you go on YouTube and you
Mm.
search how music therapy has helped them maintain balance, or you know uh, become better in that, or dance movement for their fine motor skills or their gross motor skills and all of these things. So once you are out there and you prove that this thing really works, people will definitely come to you.
right. And speaking through clinical studies.
And also just
Yeah, yeah.
like mentioning one thing, um, it's not a thing that expressive arts therapists or practitioners don't use talk therapy. They do use talk therapy. The traditional
Okay.
therapies that traditional is like you have one-to-one talking and
Right,
then you
right,
give homeworks and all that.
right, right.
Whereas expressive arts is what you do arts and different kind of things. But that doesn't mean कि हम बात ही नहीं करते. कभी
Hmm.
कभी कोई sessions ऐसे होंगे where you're not doing any art. You are talking. You
Right.
are expressing through verbal communication and all those things. So it's not that we don't incorporate talk therapy in it. It's not like हम drawing ही करते रहते हैं या नाचते ही रहते हैं या music सुनते रहते हैं. It's not like that. So it is like goes hand in hand with traditional psychology. It's just that uh, we include other things also.
Right. Do you give feedback to whatever the person is doing? Like, for example, if you ask how their day was and they do this, so like you say, ki maybe his day was bad. So why was your day bad, or something like that to make him come out.
That was just a small example that I gave you about the movement thing.
Right.
Uh, Usually, we don't ask a lot of why questions because then it questions you as to why is she asking me a why? If I ask you, why are you wearing this checks
Right. Right.
t-shirt? What will you start thinking? Oh, I think it's
I
not
should be
looking
more
good,
careful.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why have
Right.
you tucked until here if I ask you like that?
Right.
What
Right.
you'll become very conscious
Right.
ekdam fat se, right? So usually whether it is like a counselor or it's an expressive arts therapy practitioner or anyone, we avoid asking why questions, especially in the beginning itself when you're
Hmm.
still rapport building or you have just started the session. You directly don't ask why. But if if you have said, for example, if you said, yeah, I had a good day and this is my movement, and you
Hmm.
have a very disinterested so I understand your state of mind, or I understand where you are at right now. So if
Right.
for me, if I'm all elevated and my mood is all like, let's go, let's do this. If my mood is this, but if your mood is like this, and I take my session with all energy, then
Yeah.
our energies are not matching, right?
Right.
So you will be here and I'll be here. So once I know where you're at, I will come down here first to meet where you are at with these exercises, and then either take you here, go down, or be at the same pace. That also decides the pace of the session.
Right.
So now that I know that this is your thing, this is your joy, and if I observe a lot that you have these swaying movements going on and you need a little directive movements, a very
Right.
कि मतलब for example, if you do this and your complaints are also कि हाँ मेरा काम नहीं हो रहा है, or you are very procrastinated in procrastination है as nature and all that, so then I know that you're very swayy and swingy and you need to be very, you need to be direct, you need to have some direction or a goal or something. Then through movement, some meeting you at this pace, I'll try and get you to this. The movement of the body
Right.
also uh, impacts a lot on how you think, how you behave, how it's going on. So then that's how it will go. So this is just movement therapy that I'm talking about. You can have anything. You can have you add music, you add dance, you add drama, you add anything.
I remember on the first day of my drama class, uh, teaching. I used to work out a lot. So my body language was very rigid, like this. So I used to walk like this and stuff like that. So the first lesson that was taught to me was just, loosen up my body. Otherwise, I cannot perform.
True. That's really very true. So it's also said that your body holds a lot of things, and your body is, stored with different kinds of memory and all that. For example,
Right,
if मैंने बचपन में साइकिल सीखा है, why do I know it even now? My muscles have that memory that
right,
even if I do it after 10 years, I know how to do it. एक दो बार इधर उधर ऐसे होगा, but then I know how to pedal and I know how to go How do you know that?
Procedural
Ever
memory.
imagined? Your body, your muscles, your everyone stores so much of memory about it, and
Right.
so all these things also. So it's also said, like, we are getting a lot into dance and movement, but it's said कि your stress or something is also somewhere in your body. तो कोई एक body part में there'll be a, your stress or maybe depression or anxiety or whatever you're having. Your body will, that body part will hold it,
Hmm.
and through DMT, through the techniques, through different exercises, you'll understand, कि वो सब यहाँ पे suppose at, it's stored here maybe, or it's stored here at the back. Then how with movement therapy and all you loosen your body, how do you get into it, how do you spread, तो वो सब भी आता है इसमें.
Because there's a connection between mind and body, right?
Yes,
Right.
yes,
Okay.
that's the crux of it.
Speaking in terms of clinical studies, have there been researches conducted to prove the efficacy of expressive arts therapy?
Oh, a lot of researches. Either they are researches that speak about, अलग-अलग domains, अलग-अलग तरह के, and they have also spoken about it together.
Right.
You know, uh, it's like since ages we have a lot of books on expressive therapies. We have a lot of articles available on expressive therapies with different populations, or how it started. I read a few papers that spoke about, अभी तो मैंने सिर्फ इंडिया का background दिया. Even Egyptians had a lot of drama and all going on for well-being and all those things. Even in um, I don't remember where else. You have a lot of
Right.
Western dominance also on that. So it started a lot earlier. You had Moreno speaking about drama therapy back then, and even if you're a theater person, if you're a theater enthusiast who studies theater, they also learn about a few people who have given drama therapy and all these things. So there is a lot of information and evidence based practices that are being done, evidence based papers that are out there on expressive arts therapy.
Right.
Yeah, it
Wonderful.
is. That's what I'm saying. It's growing in India right now.
Hmm.
It's a blooming um, kind of therapy that, touchwood, we'll have, everyone. We don't even have a proper master's degree in expressive therapies right now in India. We have
Hmm.
diploma that's available. There are a few short courses that are available. So it's starting from there.
Do you see in the future scope of integration of traditional talk therapy and expressive art therapy?
Of course, I do, because I think I believe that. So now I come from a background where I have been trained in expressive arts therapy,
Hmm.
but I always knew, even if I would have gone for counseling or any other profession, uh, since I have been exposed to arts and theater and dance since I was a kid, I knew it had a power to
Right.
to health and well-being and all of those things. So if I'm a person who can think that, I'm pretty sure there are hundreds and thousands of counselor or clinical psychologists there who do believe in these therapies and might include some of the aspects of it, or might take some short courses on it to incorporate it in their working. And it would be, I mean, it's not like I want to, हम expressive arts वाले हैं, तुम psychology वाले, तुम
Right.
talk करो, हम ये करेंगे. It's not like that. If we all work together, I think we can reach more and more people through the best that we can give to client.
Right.
If the client doesn't need expressive therapies, I can't force the client to do that. I will recommend them to some talk therapy therapist or someone. So it's the same. If if it's not working for them, you recommend it to some other therapy or some other technique or anything, the other therapist. So in and all, the entire what we say, it's a cohort of psychologists and therapists and all.
Right.
So if we all work together, I think we can even touch more and more lives, and we can help more and more people.
So I was having some anxiety issues. I went for CBT. One of my main issue was idle mind. So the homework I was given was drawing, like color any outline or stuff like that. To do not idolize your mind, whatever it is. So I feel that it is already included, even if it is not in a formal way.
Correct, correct.
Right.
So if you have heard about mandalas, so
Mandela.
mandala is an art form wherein
Right.
if you there are a lot of artists also who do that. So ऐसे circle में या तो कोई enclosed चीज में you make intricate drawings. If after this interview, if you want to go look up for mandala, I'll send you some videos if you want. So बेसिक है, बच्चे भी करते हैं, बच्चों को भी अभी कलरिंग बुक्स मिलती है जिसमें एक सर्कल में they'll have some flowers, ये वो बहुत इंट्रिकेट रहेगा, and one color will be written on that and you have to color accordingly.
Right.
So these things are being used by the clinical or counselors or whatever other therapists in their work to improve the concentration level, or for this idle
Right.
mind thing, or if there are a lot of thoughts going on simultaneously and you sit and do that. So these homeworks are already given. It's just that we are being trained in, so वो उनका एक होमवर्क होगा, हम उसी को लेके पूरा थेरेपी कर लेते हैं. दैट्स द डिफरेंस.
Right.
तुम एक ड्राइंग बनाओ, उससे हम 2 सेशंस चला लेंगे, बट ये जो आपने ड्राइंग बनाया होगा, whatever you had made, that will just be a homework for reflection later.
Right. Right.
But their main aim will be some other technique or some other therapy or some other approach that they might have.
Right.
So that's how it goes.
Okay, talking about drama therapy, do you think that it can help clients as a good coping mechanism? For example, someone is suffering from anger issues, right?
Yes. I had a client uh, with whom drama therapy, surprisingly, I mean, it was my internship that I was doing, and I had clients, and one of them, the techniques of drama therapy work wonders with her. It really worked very well. The role play techniques, the confrontation techniques, or other techniques
Right.
that we had, somehow, and it came in the process. So it was so beautiful for me also as a practitioner to see how it is working.
Right.
Because I never had this thing कि मैं ये करूंगी और इसी लाइन में करूंगी. It organically came in the process, and that's how we went ahead with it. So those things really, really worked well. So yeah, it it works well if it is fitting in that. You can't forcefully put, just because you are a great drama therapy, a lot of drama therapy techniques, it's not like yeah फिर तो मैं डालूंगी ही. You need to understand if it really works with them. If
Right.
it's very beautiful when you see how how this bottle also can indicate a lot of things. So yeah.
Last question I would like to ask you.
Yeah.
Someone suffering from trauma or autism or any mental disorder, how can expressive arts therapy be used to alleviate their physical and psychological symptoms?
So with children with autism, or other any people with autism and all. So how do I tell you how? So the techniques that we use in expressive arts, we use imagination, creativity, spontaneity. If you talk about autism, children with autism, I had a group were children with autism and all that, and we, so to build. So there are various aspects that affects them. Like you said, it can be physical, it can be their physical, the way they are sitting, the way they do things, that can be affected. Their emotional things, the way they communicate, sometimes they're not able to speak up and all those things. Then they're also traditionally educated in basic math and all those things.
Right.
So even teaching maths, we teach them in a very creative way. We have visual aids that we use for them. So we had one session, if I had to talk about it, where we all came up with a drama based thing. So we build on it for three sessions. Okay, we build on a character. We came up with a character, how the character speaks. So for example, it's an animal. Okay,
Right.
so kids usually connect a lot with
Right.
animals, or colors, or even for that matter, if they're very Bollywood, or very, so our warm-ups used to be Shah Rukh Khan ke steps, or Shah Rukh Khan ka gana, or maybe some other, and they only used to suggest it. So that's how we knew that okay, they're interested so much into Bollywood. Let's keep the warm-up and the closure with this. So we
Right.
used to dance, we used to play song. We had taken a list of their favorite songs, and we used to play it, and everyone used to dance on in whatever capacity. If they want to sit and dance, if they want to get up and dance, if they want to move so much and dance, that's all fine. So that's how we started. So if for example, if for these three sessions we have an aim of building their communication skills, so we went, so if that's the goal that we have, we go with drama therapy, maybe where they have role plays, where they enact. We had all the kids taking one character. Then they we make that character into, we bring it to life by giving it to a name. Where is it from? How does it look like? How does it feel like? We make a mask to make
Right.
it even more external. If they have a mask, any kind of, they come with creative things. Everyone don't really make like a proper mask. Some people just tie a dupatta. That's their imagination. That's how their animal look like. What kind of voice it has, that's where music therapy comes in. So we bring that character into life, and then we bring them into one shelter, like chalo theek hai, abhi ye sab animals ek jungle mein hai. So you kind of build a space where they're all into. When we had online sessions, it's very difficult to
Hmm.
they're in their own spaces, to get them into one particular window.
Right.
So at that time, creating a thing, so हमारे बहुत सारे background zoom में वगैरह भी होते थे.
Hmm.
So we had these trees and these things and water and everything for everyone,
Hmm.
so that they feel that they are in a jungle. So giving them a proper experience, so their imagination, creativity all works in together. Then building, putting them into groups, and telling them, okay, now you have a party, how will you make that scene? So everyone made their individual, four people in a group, making their scene. So everyone has some kind of dialogues. So in that process, they interact with each other, they come up with ideas, they have their own things that they do. So these all things lead, it's a very it's a very proper process. It won't happen like in a go. So these processes take them, and then they had to present it in front of everyone. So then all these things about
Their
feeling
social skills
anxious,
increase.
their social skills,
Right.
their relationship with each other,
Right.
peers that they talk. Maybe in class, you never talk. If you have a
Hmm.
group of four, you only talk to those group of four. It's not
Right.
only with autistic children with autism, even we. If we have a
Hmm.
particular group, we stick to it because it's our comfort zone. When
Hmm.
we are asked to shuffle, when we are asked to interact, that's when we socialize, that's when we come up with things. That's how it works with others also.
Hmm.
So
Right.
it was just a gist as to how we can अभी ये ड्रामा था, मेन चीज तो ड्रामा था, but in that we brought in art by making masks. We
Hmm.
brought in voice because they had to talk like a lion will have a heavy voice. So if you have taken a lion, you have to, you vocalize like that. So they all came with that. So, music comes in. Vocals are your music. Drama came in. If they're moving around like a lion or a tiger or whatever, movement comes in.
Right.
So this is how expressive arts की एक ही intervention में हमने सब modality भी डाल दी है.
Hmm.
So just a scenario as to how it looks like.
And someone wants to go for being an expressive arts psychologist, all they have to do is get a bachelor's in psychology, right?
Okay, so what I did is I have a bachelor's in psychology, majors,
Right.
6 papers. Then I did my PG diploma course in expressive arts therapy from St. Xavier's College, Mumbai. And currently I'm doing my MSc clinical Psycho-Oncology from Christ University, Bangalore. So if you have to, it's not, so now the courses that we have available in India, that requires some background in psychology, but
Hmm.
not compulsory. So in my cohort, in my batch, I had people who were from commerce, or I had people from mass media, but having at least one single paper of psychology, maybe. And when it was a very, very difficult process to get into it, it was like 3-4 layers of interviews or whatsoever it was,
Right.
to get into it. So in that process, they make sure that you have learned some uh, basics of psychology, because then that will be the questions that will be asked or in the interview or whatever you're giving. So for now, as far as my knowledge, I don't think so psychology background itna important hai, but I personally feel that it should be a
Right.
criteria that you have a background of psychology, because then randomly you can't just be a expressive arts therapy practitioner and like go ahead treating people like you can,
Hmm.
but in field it gives you a lot of, it's a backhand. If you have a psychology
Of
background, you
course, of
have a
course.
hold,
Right.
you know what different
Hmm.
disorders are, you know how it works, you know the client counselor relationship and all. If I come from a random background, I don't know how, so I can take small workshops and all, but then I don't know how to handle it further or something. So it does have a upper and a lower hand, but yeah,
Right.
currently you can do it.
Right.
Yeah. So, and also for now, expressive arts therapist would be a person who would have like a 3-4 years very rigorous degree in that, which you get abroad. You have in Western countries, you don't have it in India right now. You have a degree in expressive arts therapy. The one that I know is from Lesley University, I think. It's a 3 or 4 years of intense program that they have. You do expressive arts therapy. That's when you're called expressive arts therapist. Currently, I'm called
Okay.
expressive arts therapy practitioner, because that's the amount of exposure I have got or
Right.
I have had. So, very intense client, I think I might not take.
Hmm.
Maybe with schizophrenia, I don't know how to deal with it further. Under guidance, maybe, yeah, but
Hmm.
not directly going and treating uh, those
Right.
patients. So it comes under the ethical part, but in India, ethics are not followed much. But I hope our generation and the coming generation and even the earlier ones, they stick to ethical norms and ethics of this profession. Yeah, I hope for that.
Thank you, Karishma. You have been very informative.
Yeah.
I'll just stop the recording.